Nearly 4 decades ago, 4 ambitious creative women opened a space for quilting artisans to gather. There, they shared techniques, classes, and forged friendships. Today, they are still teaching and still learning. These women are iconic, and WPBS is proud to share their legacy with you.
And the ones on the end you would say is like this was the beginning of your quilting career, and these are current.
This is current, yes.
Harriet McMillan is one of 4 founding members of the North Country Quilting Guild. Started in 1984, these 4 women took an age-old art and turned it into an educational experience for others.
Hundreds of years ago, it was a reasonable way for women to experience art and still have something useful. And I think that's come a long way from that. Now we're just, I know that I like them to be useful, but I also like them to be interesting.
Well, our main purpose of the Guild was to educate about quilting and to teach people how to quilt. So we've had many classes and workshops over the years, and of course our shows.
What is so interesting about quilts to me is the variety. You can quilt anything. It doesn't have to be for a bed. It can be for, we can quilt placemats, we can quilt table runners, the nice thing is that you can give them away as gifts.
First quilt class I ever took was at Watertown High when they called it Adult Ed. Marion Squires was the teacher, and that was pre-rotary cutter. So we did the scissors and the cereal boxes and cut around them and hand sewed them, tied them.
I think I was born with a needle in my hand. I have always sewn. And when my first child was due, I made her a quilt out of scraps. It was the ugliest thing I've ever made, and I gave it away right away.
At first blush and without fully understanding the art, one might think quilting is a dying art form, slowly being swallowed by fast-paced manufacturing. But ask anyone on the inside and they'll tell you it's still very much alive and well. As a matter of fact, it's evolving daily, and the learning never ends.
I personally think it is a very constantly evolving craft. When you see some of the shows like on PBS, Fons and Porter used to be, it has evolved until now a couple of very young, to us, very young people, and they're showing techniques using modern tools and not using templates like we learned to use cardboard templates in the beginning. But I think they're doing things that hopefully will appeal to a younger audience.
The biggest thing that's changed in quilting probably are the tools that we use. We have special rulers, and also the fabric.
I've seen the evolution of the tools, and that's been very interesting. I brought a quilt today that I made the traditional way. It's probably the first thing that I really made and kept. And I cut everything out with shears, and now I use a rotary cutter, and life is faster.
The templates that you used to make, even doing a square, you would take a piece of the cereal box or some other piece of light cardboard, place it on your fabric, and you literally drew around it.
Show me how this works.
Well, let's say I want to cut the square. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to keep my thumb away from where I'm cutting, and you just cut it and cut it. And when I'm at home, I use another one. Cut it. And then I will put this back on, and I'll cut the bottom line.
And again, to reiterate, this is what used to be the cereal box.
This is the old cereal box.
That fascinates me, so.
3 layers make up the cozy covers, placemats, and pot holders that cover this table. And while choosing colors and patterns is a massive piece of this puzzle, it doesn't become quilting until a pattern is stitched, pulling the top, the batting, and the back of the art piece together.
Quilting is a general term. When you quilt is actually the end process when you're attaching the 3 layers of the fabric, the batting, and the backing together. You have to put stitches to attach them. And we used to do it all by hand, or we would tie them together every so many inches. But now, in the interest of time, people want to get them finished, and so they use a machine to put the 3 layers together, and they make their design with the machine.
So you go down, straight down, and come up. That stitch is going to be a little bit big, but for this purpose, we get it.
In like the food industry, there's different regional foods. There are regional quilt techniques too, and a lot of that goes with their ancestors. What their family members used to do, that's what they will pick up on.
The finished products are donated, given as gifts, or saved for the Guild's single greatest event, the Biennial Quilt Show in Clayton, New York. Hundreds of quilts will be on display. Raffles, a silent auction to benefit the Gouverneur Breast Cancer Fund, and demonstrations will be part of the event at the Cerro Recreational Park Arena in early June. For anyone looking to learn about this ever-evolving craft, Clayton is the place to experience it. And the show just may be the beginning of a new hobby for some.
So there's more inspiration now and more information available on YouTube, Pinterest, all those other resources that we didn't have 40 years ago.
If you're curious about quilting, seasoned with your craft, or are just looking for the perfect gift for this summer's wedding, visit the North Country Quilting Guild 18th Biennial Quilt Show, slated for June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The event takes place at the Cerro Recreational Park Arena at 615 East Line Road in Clayton. Admission is $10 and covers the entire weekend. Doors open at 10 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. On Sunday, doors close at 4 p.m. And for anyone interested in joining the Guild, they should visit www.ncqg.org for more information. In Watertown for WPBS Weekly, I'm Jolene DeRosier.